were waiting at a point where I was to meet Lieutenant Swindon and his group, and I spotted three Japanese coming down the track towards me from the inland direction. They were thin and miserable, unarmed, and obviously pretty bad way. And we took the 3 Japanese prisoners and moved back towards Ghana, stopped overnight under a small native grass hut on the side of the track. The Japanese were very glad to get a tin of bully beef and bowed to me and tried to thank me, I guess, and behaved themselves pretty well. We decided the next morning not to worry about having any breakfast. We'd only 2 hours walk down to Haddy's village on the coast, and we'd go there. They'd have the billy boiling at least. So we got down there probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. There was no one there, so immediately thought maybe they'd been withdrawn. And then I spotted a body lying on the beach at 60 or 70 yards up to the west. So I got Lieutenant Swindon to give me some cover, and I jogged up, and it was Lieutenant Alan Haddy. And then we discovered there was a large number of Japanese footprints in the sand heading back towards Ghana, cutting off our escape route. So one of the boys said that these 3 prisoners might be a bit of a nuisance. One bloke put his hands up in supplication, said, "No shoot, please." We had no idea that he understood any English at the time. So I said, "No, we're not going to shoot you." So we moved into, they found another fella dead under one of there was only 3 huts there, and they'd found a Private Stevens body under one of the huts. So we went inland, and we picked up, after an hour or two, we picked up the remains of Haddy's dozen men in 2 small groups. They had a couple of wounded with them, so we escorted them back towards Ghana by this inland route, and we had to stay overnight in the jungle. Jack Swind and his batman and the police sergeant headed off back to take word back and get some medical help out for the 2nd, 16th wounded. It was rather funny. I was to take sentry duty at about 10 o'clock, and the 3 prisoners had been put down to rest in just quite near us, and we're at the base of a big banyan tree. It was about 20-foot circumference with large segments of roots coming up, so you could get a niche in between each one of them. It was quite a cosy position to lie back, put your head back against the tree and the roots either side. And I asked the other chap how the prisoners were. He said, "All correct." I was a sergeant by this time, by the way. So the moon was behind clouds and a bit misty rain, and the moon came out fitfully, and I had a look. There was only 2 prisoners there. So I alerted the rest of the troops, and what the hell's this bloke up to? Is he going to cause any mayhem? And because he could have gone and tried to get a weapon off some of the sleeping troops. Anyway, I found him round the other side of the banyan tree, sheltering from the rain. I got him by the ear and told him to get back where he belonged. He was throwing his arms up and saying he didn't like the rain on his head and so on. I said, "I don't like it either, mate. You bastards called this bloody war." And so I put him back in his place. And next morning, the stretcher bearers come out for the 2 wounded and patched them up, and we went back. And I had to hand these prisoners over at brigade headquarters, and a big provo, police sergeant, come and took them, and he tied their hands behind their backs with signal wire and put a Tommy gun in the back of the last bloke and marched them off down the road. I thought, "You big hero." But I never saw or heard of them again.